This new morning we're talking about hope, one of my favorite things to talk about. Hope and opportunity and second chances. Now I think HOPE stands for, I love acronyms, healing of painful experiences. And my motto, Tommy, is hope helps you cope. I know you agree with that.
Yes.
Okay, sitting here right now with me in person is Tommy Doswell. He spent 19 years in prison for a crime he didn't even commit. But he never, ever, ever stopped hoping that one day he'd be free. And joining us also is the man who helped prove Tommy's innocence. Please welcome from the Innocence Project, attorney Colin Starger. Tell us what the Innocence Project is.
The Innocence Project is a law school clinic of Doswell Law School and a nonprofit criminal justice system. We were founded in 1992 by Barry Scheck and Peter Neufeld. And we use DNA testing to exonerate people who've been, like Tommy, wrongfully convicted. And we also study the causes of wrongful convictions after exonerations occur and make recommendations for reform in the criminal justice system.
And why did you get involved with this case?
Well, as you might imagine, since 1992, the words got out about DNA testing, and we receive thousands of letters from prisoners claiming that they're innocent. And we have an entire intake department that's dedicated to reading those letters and trying to find out if the person who's writing presents a case where DNA testing actually can prove whether someone's innocent. And Tommy's case came in the door.
Wait, I have to ask you, do most of these people that present their cases, do you think they're really innocent?
Well, I can't say, really, whether or not most people who write to us are really innocent or not. It's impossible to tell. What I can say is that when we actually are able to get DNA testing done, about half the time it comes back and it shows that they are.
By the way, did all the guys that you were in prison with claim to be innocent?
Everyone in jail is innocent.
Everybody in jail is innocent.
Right.
Ah.
And that's why, because everyone in jail claims that they're innocent, there's a lot of cynicism about whether anybody actually is. But thankfully, through DNA testing, you can prove to a moral certainty that certain individuals like Tommy, in fact, are innocent.
I'm so fascinated by forensics, so I happen to know that to get a sample, it can be sperm, it can be saliva, hair, blood, all those things.
That's right. And in this case, Tommy was falsely accused of raping somebody, and a rape kit was taken from the victim, and the sperm of the real perpetrator was on that rape kit. And when we tested it, it came back that it was not Tommy Doswell. In fact, it was the person who's never been captured.
Oh, they're still out there?
They may still be out there. We don't. Their profile was entered into state and national DNA databases and didn't come back with a hit. So that's all we know about that.
There's so many facets of your story that are just almost unbelievable. But the one about the fire, where they keep the evidence packages. Tell us quickly about that.
Yes, it was in the Pittsburgh Police property room, the DNA evidence, and they had a fire, and they had moved it 3 different times, and all the records.
Moved your package 3
yes,
different times.
all of the DNA. They had to move the property room 3 different times, and one of the times they had to move it because of the fire, and all the records under my records were destroyed, and mine was preserved for these 19 years, and I'm thankful for that.
So if you hadn't had that, there wouldn't be any DNA. You wouldn't be sitting here with us right now. Which begs the question, Colin. How many people you've exonerated that were actually on death row?
Right, that's a really important question. DNA testing has exonerated about 12 or 13 people off of death row so far. The number could be higher as we go forward.
Talk about your close calls. Now, I hear you get to sing for B.B. King?
Yes, ma'am.
How'd that happen?
Carl King Productions. I got in touch with a journalist from Pittsburgh, Post-Gazette paper named Bill Mushi. He had written the first story about myself being exonerated, and got in touch with my attorneys in Pittsburgh, and they thought it would be a great idea, hearing that I had musical talents, if I would consider opening up for Mr. B.B. King, and I did so December the 2nd on Heinz Hall in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, you had to go? Wow.